Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey, this may be the weirdest technology video you've ever watched. It's certainly the weirdest one that I've made so far. But when I look around Reddit or Facebook or even in the comments of some of my previous videos as I'm reviewing devices, the question that always comes up, well, there's two things, and there's two reasons why people want an e-ink device, and that's because it's easy on the eyes. And then second is because the writing feel is like paper. So, you hear that a lot when you're talking about all the different devices that they all feel like paper. But, when you have as many as I have, you find that each one of them feels different, and really none of them feel like paper. So I wanted to convey to you and help you out. If you're thinking about buying a device, or if you've got a device and you're thinking about a different device, and you wanted to know what the writing feel is like, I wanted to kind of give you, ways that you can try at home to emulate what the writing's like. And while it may not be exact, I'm going to try to get as close as I can for a number of devices. So today I'm only going to be focused on black and white devices. I'm going to look at the Boox Note Max, the Go 10.3, the Supernote Manta, and the ViWoods AI Paper. And I'm going to try to show you using things that I actually went out and purchased in the store, what that writing feel is like. So here's what I've got. So I've got a dry erase board and a dry erase marker. I've got two regular fine point pens. I think they're 0.7 millimeter is what the tip is on them. I've got some drawing pencils. I've got some Sharpies. I've got some ultra fine. What is this? I've got some ultra fine water activated erasing. So this is permanent until you want it gone. Wet erase is what that is. I've got, this is liquid chalk marker. I've got some, straight up chalk. And then for writing surfaces, I've got paper. I've got watercolor paper pad. I've got the dry erase board. And I might even layer some stuff, maybe a stack of paper, maybe, some plastic on top of paper, certainly have a stack of 8 sheets of 20 bond paper. I've got a sheet of just clear plastic that I can put on top. I may layer some stuff and try to figure out what does the writing feel like on some of these devices. So I'm going to start off with the Supernote Manta. So the Supernote Manta probably has one of the best writing feels of any device out there. And the way that I would describe the Supernote Manta is I am writing with it on with one of their pens. This is the push-up pen. But when I'm writing with this on the device, it feels to me a little sticky, not sticky in a bad way, but your pen tip, since it's so fine, it really sticks to the surface and gives you very good control. I know that other people may not describe it as sticky. That may not be the way that they do it, but let me see what I can find that emulates the Supernote the best. All right, so this is going to surprise you a little bit. So I've got just the S-Gel Sharpie pen. It's a ballpoint pen. 0.7 is the tip size on that. And so it's got a very sharp tip on there. And the dry erase board's not the right thing. Paper's not the right thing. Neither is the watercolor paper pad that I have. But when I took the corner box off of this that came on the dry erase board, this is an Office Depot brand magnetic dry erase board. It's a piece of cardboard that has kind of like a wax coating on it a little bit. And when I write on this with the 0.7, when it pressed down, and I know you're not going to be able to see what I'm writing, but I get kind of that's a very close feel of what the Supernote feels like. So I would say any kind of a piece of cardboard that has a shiny, glossy surface to it, when you're writing with a 0.7 millimeter tip, this is what the Supernote feels like. Of course, this pen's not writing on it. That's very close to the Supernote. Not exact, but it's very close. All right, next up, we're going to do the ViWoods AI Paper. 10, I think it's 10.65 inch device. I think this uses the same screen technology as the Supernote Manta. However, it doesn't have the same screen film that the Supernote Manta does. This is the surface on this is a little more slippery, a little slicker. Still gives you some pretty good control. It is nice to write on. Very enjoyable to write on. So let's see what I can emulate to come up with that feel. And voila, I've got it. So I've got a thin sheet of plastic. I don't remember what that came off of. It's just a very, very thin sheet of plastic. I'm going to put it on a stack of papers here. I've got a Sharpie fine point marker, and that is giving me the feel of the ViWoods AI paper. Very closely. Not exact. None of these are going to be exact because it's not the same writing utensil. It's not the same surface that you're writing on. But that's very good for the ViWoods AI paper. So if you want to check that out and see if it's something you might be interested in, we've knocked that one down. All right, so next up, we've got the Boox Go 10.3. So let's see what this is like to write on. It's got just a little bit of grip to it. It's not a lot. It's feels a little drier or a little maybe less slippery than the ViWoods, but there's not a whole lot of difference between there. So let's see what that is like. I'm going to try some things off camera and come back. All right, this one took a little work to try to come up with a surface. I had to go hunting through the house for something to give me the emulation of the Boox Go 10.3. So what I came up with was the Sharpie fine point, and it didn't work on that piece of plastic like the ViWoods did. But I did go find a Glad, this is one of those disposable storage containers for food. I did a lot of writing on this with different devices, so you'll see a lot of the markings I left behind there. But this actually comes pretty close to the Go 10.3. It's a little slipperier than the 10.3, not much, but it gives something that's very close to that feel. Got just enough grip to it, and it's balanced out with the slide very well. So if you want to go try a Glad disposable food storage container, you could probably buy a set of those for less than $10 and a Sharpie fine point marker, and you're interested in the Boox Go 10.3, you're going to get pretty close to the writing feel there. Hey, just checking in. I told you this is going to be a weird video, right? Hey, having a little bit of fun doing this, though. I hope you're having fun. Let's go on to the next device. All right, next up is the big dog here, the Boox Note Max. Great writing feel on this device. I'm going to put in my passcode. Let's go ahead and start a note. Create a new one here, handwritten notes with a blank template. All right, so the writing feel on this, I broke the tip on my white version of this Boox, and I've got another white, I've got a white version right here, so let's just use the one that came with the device. So this, gosh, that's very similar to the 10.3. The 10.3 is slipperier than the Note Max. The Note Max has more grip. So that's going to be hard to emulate here. Let's see what I can find. Well, this was easier than I thought. I used the same Sharpie fine point with the same Glad lid that I had. I just flipped it over to the inside. I don't know that the surface is any different, but it feels different a little bit with a pen. So when I write on this, it is grippier than it is on that side. Just a little bit. But that gives me the writing feel that I get with and I'm having trouble keeping all my pens. You know, that's a little coarser. That feels a little bit more coarse than this does. But it's close. It's close. I'm going to say that this one is close enough that you get an idea, but it's not exact. That's a really good writing surface there. And you know what? I have to be very careful as I'm doing all these tests. I almost wrote on the Boox Note Max with the Sharpie, and that would not be a good thing. I need to make sure that that is not that is not what I think it is. No, that's actually E. So anyway, I'm using the ViWoods pen on that. So anyway, so I would say the bottom side of this Glad cover and the Sharpie fine point was pretty close to the Note Max, enough that you could say that that's what it sounds like or feels like. Yeah, so that wraps up the black and white devices that I was going to do. And I said that I might do color in a different video, but let's just go ahead and do it here just for the heck of it. So we're going to do the Tab XC with and without a screen protector, the Note Air 4C, and then we're going to do the Remarkable Paper Pro and see if we can find anything that matches those three devices. So let's start off with the Tab XC next. I currently have the Healing Shield screen protector on there. I'm going to do writing feel with it on there first, then I'm going to rip it off. And the only reason I'm going to do that is I installed this while making a video, and I got a bunch of little pieces of dust underneath it because I was not trying to be extra careful about the dust. And that's been driving me crazy, so I do have an extra one that I'm going to rip this one off for this video, and then I'm going to reapply a newer version of it. And I'm going to be more careful about the dust this time. So let's look at the writing feel with the Inkspire stylus and just see what, it doesn't have to be on for me to do this, but all right, so that gives me some pretty good drag with the screen protector. Let's see if I can find anything to match that. Okay, I've hit the jackpot. So writing on this, there's quite a bit of drag, and I don't know if you can hear this or not, but there's quite a bit of scratchy noise with that screen protector on there. And what I found that's the closest to that, let me move this out of the way, is a sheet of paper and a drawing pencil. I could probably stand to take some of the tip off of that drawing pencil. It's very, very sharp, but my writing feel, the noise is not exactly the same, but my writing feel is very similar. And if I were to take some of that tip off, I don't know if I actually did that or not, I would get even closer to that. So that's weird because that's pencil on paper, you know. So this is just standard 20 bond typing paper, and that is very close to what that feels like. This is a little slipperier, not much, but it's a little slipperier than the pencil on the paper, but it's very close. So now let's rip the screen protector off. If I can do that on camera, I'll do it. I don't have fingernails. I'll do this off camera. All right, we've got it. So the Tab XC without a screen protector on it is a little slipperier. And I'm not using haptic feedback, by the way. You do have the option of doing that. So that is very similar to my Office Depot dry erase marker. It's got a very fine tip on it on a dry erase board. So when I write on that, with the exception of this feeling more mushy, in that the tip is not as, it's a little softer tip than what this is. The resistance feels very similar to what you get on the Tab XC. Also, I was between that and this one right here. It's a On Up Go. It's liquid chalk marker. It's also got a very blunt tip, but it gives you kind of the feel of the Tab XC as well. But like I say, both of these, the tip is spongier, so you get a little less hardness of what you actually get on this, but the resistance is very similar for the Tab XC. Next up is the Note Air 4C with the Boox pen. That's got a very nice feel to it. And you know, the feel is a little different when you've got it straight on or tilted a little bit, but still it's got pretty good resistance. It's got a very good writing surface. This is a pleasure to write on. So let's see what I can do to emulate this one. All right, I think I've got this one close, but not exact. So if I just take that stack of paper, and then I take this Expo Wet Erase ultra fine marker, I guess wet erase marker, and I write on paper, I get very close. Now here's where the difference is going to come in. This is a little bit grippier, and the Note Air 4C is just a little bit slippier. So you get grippier and slipperier, but they're pretty close. It's the Note Air 4C has a very good writing surface on it, and I think that comes close to emulating it. Just know that if you were to purchase this wet eraser and get a sheet of paper, you're going to get close, but if you could add a little bit of slippiness to it, you'll need that to actually emulate the Note Air 4C. But that's a pretty good match overall. I would say it's a 70% match. And then last but not least, one of my favorite devices to write on for the writing feel is the Remarkable Paper Pro. I love this device. I've always described this as writing on a chalkboard with a very fine piece of chalk. So I'm going to put that to the test today and see if I'm right. So what I did, I don't have a chalkboard, but I do have these stickers, and these stickers are meant to emulate a chalkboard. So you can put them on anything that you want to put them on. What I've done is I have taken that piece of plastic that I had earlier, and I've applied one. I'm going to go ahead and apply a second one here. I don't know, they're probably not going to, fit on there very well. And then I'm just going to get a piece of, I think I had a piece of chalk around here somewhere. Let me look and see. Well, first of all, this was liquid chalk. Let me see how that feels. That's pretty daggone close right there. And depending on where you're watching from in the world, you may or may not have ever heard the word dadgum, but that's an expletive. Oh, that's very close. That's very, very, very close. Yes, I'm going to declare that, what is this called? Liquid chalk marker with these chalkboard stickers. It's going to get you the Remarkable Paper Pro. Now, remember, the tip on this is a little blunter than the tip of the stylus that comes with the Remarkable Paper Pro. So if you can just look past that and just, try to get the writing feel there. The only thing that I didn't emulate well on this is that on the Remarkable Paper Pro, you got some bounce in the screen. It will give a little bit when you're writing. So maybe if you're writing on this and you're doing it on a stack of paper, or hey, I got so many different items. I even got a pan. I even got a tin pan to try to write on. Maybe if you wrote on something that has a little give, like this this tin pan, and I know that I'm horribly not centered on the screen, and I apologize about that. You kind of get a little bit of what the give feels like on the Remarkable Paper Pro too. So, was I right? Is that the weirdest video you've ever watched? Do you feel like you've wasted however many minutes that you put into this video? Or did you find it helpful? Or at least entertaining? You got to admit that it's, trying to watch somebody get all these different, surfaces and writing instruments and emulate the feel of, some ink devices you may or may not have ever heard of. It's pretty out there, but hopefully you found some value in it. Like I said, none of these are going to be an exact match for what I'm doing. I just tried to find the best that I could to help you if you're thinking about buying a device or, getting a different device. And I'd be curious, you at home, do you agree, if you happen to have some of these same materials around, do you agree that I got it right? Or can you give me some combinations of markers, pens, pencils, chalk, and writing surfaces that you think emulate better? If you do, put it down in the comments below. It'd be really helpful for people that are using this video to try to make a decision on a device based on what the writing feel is like. Anyway, I hope you found value in this. If you did, please consider liking. The channel is growing pretty quickly. We're almost up to 1,500 subscribers. That's tremendous in the short amount of time that the channel's been in existence. If you would consider subscribing, any support that you can give would be great. If you're thinking about buying a device, please check down in the description of the video for affiliate links. They cost you nothing extra to use the affiliate link to buy a device, and I get a small commission, and it helps me to keep buying all this crap that I'm buying to make all these videos, and it really helps. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.